reaching for some ganja. Roll the ganja, man. Roll it. Y'all make sure y'all got the blood on the door, because I ain't going to remember nothing in a few minutes. He had no requirements for their behavior. No requirements about anything they were doing in the house, long as you have the blood on the door. The miracle of deliverance now sets the stage for the sacrifice to receive. A miracle got you started, but miracle isn't going to take you all the way. The miracle got you started, but now you're going to feel the pain of achieving what he promised. I want to talk to some real people. Because you got a scholarship to the college didn't give you a graduation cap. The joy of the scholarship just put you into the rigors of the study. It ain't a done deal yet. Man, you're smart enough to get the scholarship. You're smart enough to put some work on your back. That's what you did. You just bought into a whole lot of studying hours. Oh, it's going to be easy. My daughter called me, Dad, I didn't know it was going to be so hard. I said, well, you thought it was going to give you a degree? And you come out just as silly as when you went in? It didn't work like that. You're going to work for it. Yeah, I opened the door so that you'd work for it. But here's your vision. Your vision is not the scholarship now. Your vision is to realize the goal. If you could get your eyes off of Egypt and get your eyes on Canaan, you could go through some hardship. The way is hard. And then come the way. Wait, I'm trying to get you to ownership. This is the way to get it. I'm working now 2 years. I haven't worked out a year and a half or something. I was swimming a mile 4 times a week. 4 times a week, 1,500 yards, nonstop. 2 surgeries later, a year later, haven't been in a pool. And I started last week. So now, God bless America. Thank you, Jesus. Now, I'm working on 10 laps now. 10 laps. However, just 10. Not straight. Do as many as I can straight. And then rest, but get 10 before I get out. I have never realized what being fit was when I was fit. Because being fit from a child all the way into adulthood, I never ever stopped to appraise what it means to be able to swim a whole mile 4 times a week. I was a beast. So now that you have to climb up to it, from a place that you've never been before, 2 surgeries later, now you're beginning to understand when a man is fit, a woman is fit, what it really is. When your heart rate is, my resting heart rate then was 48 a minute. Heart would just go boom and go to sleep. And boom and go to sleep. Now the thing is racing somewhere near 75, 80 a minute because the fitness isn't there. Now you're climbing back. Now it's a whole respect. So when you get back, you're at a place now where you'll preserve it and watch over it. If the miracle of deliverance meant the miracle of achievement, Israel wouldn't have any respect. but going through the way to get it. And if the way is hard and the way is difficult, when I get to where God put me, I'll respect it enough to keep it with the dignity that it should be kept with. The achievement of greatness is of no good if the path to it was easy. I'm trying to take you into ownership, y'all. The way is hard. You forget that the man had you making bricks without straw. Have you forgotten that? And the way is hard. Man, serving the Lord is hard. I think it was harder to be on the street with a pimp. Serving God is hard. I think it was harder to be running from the police with the dope in the back of the car. And nervous all the time, scared. Not expecting to live past 25. Already made plans for your dying at 25. Because you know when you're gangbanging, it can go at any time. And yeah, but serving the Lord is hard, man. Oh, it's hard to be holy. The way of the transgressor is hard. I'm trying to take it ownership. I mean, this was really something. So now they were discouraged, and the people spake against God, the deliverer, and against Moses. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathe this light bread. Now, come on now. I thought you said there was no bread. You got some light one. Loathe it. Hating what you got. Now, I think I can take a few licks on my way to ownership. I think I can take a few licks if the grapes are hanging like they said they're hanging. I think I can take a few licks if the giant's in the land. I think I can take a few licks if it is as prosperous as it is. I can go hungry for a few weeks to live the rest of my life in pleasure and joy and in abundance. They couldn't do it. The mindset was too slave mentality oriented. See, in slavery, you're covered, but you got to take, you're fed. You don't have to struggle for anything, but they work you to death. And you have no control of your life. What would you pay to have control of your life? What would you pay to be in control of your own destiny? I think the whole thing about slavery, I didn't want to get there. It's depressing. Just to give some consideration to having a family, loving a woman, and they can separate you whenever they get ready. Take her from you in the middle of the night and bed her and then bring her back in the morning. And you have absolutely no power over it. And God is delivering them from the whole rigors of being somebody else's chattel and delivering them into ownership, and they're fussing along the way. What do you want to go back to? Well, you want to go back to Satan controlling your every move, or have the freedom of God in your life? You want to go back to Satan determining where you go and how you live, and tearing your heart up and tearing your life up and giving you all kinds of blues because he's giving you what you like. He's dealing with what's good to you, but ain't none of it good for you. I mean, who wants to live where they have no control over their destiny or their future? And God is saying, can't you just go through this? Can't you just go? Why are you talking against a God who delivers? Why do you think God would deliver you and is not capable of keeping you? Why do you think he'd put you in a situation that he has no mastery over after he has done such a great work as to deliver you from Pharaoh? If he got you away from Pharaoh, he can get you away from the Amalekites. He can get you away from anything that comes your way. I didn't bring you out here to destroy you. I brought you out here to take you higher. This is the price you have to pay to go higher. Woo. I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm learning now. You know, I'm an old man now, but I'm learning some things. I'm still learning. You know, some people have to have somebody to blame to get through. I mean, really, they just have to have somebody to blame for the condition they're in. And they have to blame. And I was talking to my psychologist the other day. Was in church with me for years and years and got a psychology degree. And so I was talking to him about a certain incident that was very personal to me. And he says, no, he says some people just have to blame somebody. So now be strong enough to allow them to blame you if that's what it takes for them to get through. Ain't no sense. You know the deal. You know the facts. You know how it went. So it don't make sense for you to sit around here crying over something when you know how it went. Allow them. If that's what it takes for them to stay sane, allow it. Because some people have to blame somebody for what they didn't do for themselves. Amen. Look at me now. Look at me. I don't even have green on. So I'm not green. Amen. Innocence has long left me, and it ain't coming back. Amen. I tried to order some the other day, but it wouldn't come back. I can't even act as if I don't know. I can't even act green. How does green look? Can't even act green. Which means, if you make a fool out of me, I allowed it. If you made a fool out of me, I allowed it. So here's what I've learned in life. You take responsibility for what happens in your life. I am too smart for you to slip one over on me. Huh? I'm either a perpetrator or I have allowed myself to be a victim. I had something to do with being victimized. Amen. Ain't nobody that smart. I had something to do with allowing it. And I got enough God in me to have seen something coming and ignored it. Amen. If I didn't see it intellectually, I felt it emotionally. Something just pop up in your mind. Sometimes it's just a quick flash of madness. It just come up real quick and goes away, but it was there. Did you see that? Did you see that? It just showed up and it went away. Now they're blaming God. They're blaming the deliverer. And they're giving the deliverer no ability to finish what he started. Now understand then the misunderstanding of miracle when you don't know what went into giving you the opportunity. See, many people are sitting around waiting for miracles because they don't want to operate in the power of who they are. Want it to happen for them without their involvement. So now we got to blame somebody. We didn't put ourselves out here, but we put you out there for your benefit. We called you for your benefit. I'm God sitting high, looking low. Pharaoh don't have no control of me. One of the most disheartening things is when you want something for somebody who doesn't want it for themselves. Particularly and especially when you know that they have the capacity and they're living beneath their dignity. And now you're in a situation where they're complaining when they're enslaved and they're complaining when they're free. They're mad when they're being controlled and they're mad when they're in control. So now I've come to the conclusion that blaming others is not objective. It's subjective. It's something that's coming out of me that you really didn't cause. It's me not praising you for your sacrifice, but downing you for it. Now the deliverer is to be blamed for wanting them in a promised land so he can keep his word to Abraham. Oh my goodness, Lord, include me in the promise so that I might participate with joy and gladness, so I can take the bumps in the road for what I'm going to end up with. And when I get there, let me not be bitter because of the journey. Immediately now, I hate to elaborate too far, but think about Joseph. What kind of journey did he have? When his assignment was to protect Israel. Well, who's Israel? His brothers. His brothers. But who are his brothers? The guys that wanted him dead. Yet his assignment is to protect them. That's the only reason he's going to Egypt. Is to become dominant in Egypt so he could control their destiny. If he had misunderstood the journey, he fought with it too. You could see it. When he kept Benjamin back, the way he talked to them, he was fighting with it. It wasn't like it was a cakewalk. Yeah. I'm trying to forgive you all, but remember what you all did. Most of us, I'd have probably talked for 2 or 3 months before. We don't want to hear it. No, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. I tell you what, I'm going to lock all of you up so you can hear what I got to say to you. Then I'll let you out of this jail, but you're going to hear it. And then there's another side to it. The other side is, look at me now. all tried to kill me. Look at me now. Go over there and clean my horse. Bring my horse. The miracle is to get through the journey and not be bitter. Woo. Get through the journey and not be hateful. Get through the journey and be good to the folk who were not good to you. Blaming the deliverer for the opportunity. Want an opportunity without effort. Want to achieve greatness without putting anything into it. Oh, yeah. You got it too easy for too long. And now the next level calls for light bread. We loathe this bread. Man, you in a few weeks you can make any bread you want. So the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people. You all want to die? All right, fine. And they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Now they came to Moses. And they said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Now pray unto that same Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And he made a serpent of brass, put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man whom he beheld, when rather he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. Now notice, even in their recovery, they had to exercise faith. And anytime you exercise faith, there's a 4-letter word that comes with it, 5-letter word, works. Faith without works, you're going to stay bitten. You're going to stay dead. You have to look at it. Which means you have to believe you will be delivered if you look. I think somebody wrote a song, Look and Live. My brother, live. Look to Jesus now and live. It's recorded in his word. Hallelujah. Only got to look and live. Yeah. That's old. That's not rapping. It's incredible the human involvement in a miraculous display. The miracle is there. The serpent is there. But it's not coming to you. You have to look. And you have to look believing that you will be delivered simply by looking. And it's interesting that you're looking at a replica of what poisoned you. Now that's the challenge now, is to ask me to look at something that tried to kill me. Amen. I don't know if amen is appropriate right there, but do you know how much deliverance we get when we have the ability to face our enemy? The deliverance we get in confronting the enemy. Here's how the Lord puts it. He says, if you resist the devil, Paul puts it, he'll flee from you. So God is saying essentially, I'll put you in a place where the enemy has no more power over you. So look and live. Confront the demon. Because there would be no serpents. You created him. You created that serpent. Because you didn't praise me for the opportunity to be released from slavery to ownership. You would rather condemn me for the deliverance. It's the mankind. I think it's something that we ought to fight not to do. We ought to fight not to do it. It's the same thing Adam did. I mean, the human race started with that. The woman you gave me. I didn't get this woman myself. You gave me that woman. You gave her to me. Now she messed me up. You gave her to me. Immediately he's blaming God. What does Eve do? The serpent you made. You made that serpent. The serpent got it. You made the serpent. How is it that man can totally ignore and diminish and devalue the splendid things that God does on our behalf? I was thinking the other day, looking at my own gene pool, and I know some friends whose parents had certain things that were wrong with them, and they were born with certain disadvantages physically. And I look at my own gene pool, and I came to the realization that if God blesses you with good DNA, if that's nature, your nature is good DNA, then you ought to respect it enough to not abuse it and take care of it. Since you're fortunate enough not to be born with any birth defect and not to be born with any disadvantage physically, then it seems like you ought not to drink it into cirrhosis of the liver. You ought not to smoke it into cancer of the lungs and the brain. Now, Bob Marley died of brain cancer. Yes, that's all about Bob Marley. You can go to Jamaica now and go to the Bob Marley Museum. And when you go to the museum, just the weed is right there. It's all part of the experience. Just we're listening to reggae and Bob Marley music, and the weed is right there. The police right there, and no matter. Just how we destroy what he has given us. Somebody asked me the other day, can somebody die before the time? I said, certainly. Certainly we can hasten our own death. All in the pleasure-oriented stuff. What do you think all the diseases of the 70s, or all that free love of the 60s became the diseases of the 70s and the 80s? Why? People with good, healthy DNA, just excessive in orgies and all kinds of stuff, and just disease running rampant, just going everywhere. Consequential. The opportunity of being blessed by God, the opportunity of being delivered should never end up in complaints. It should always end up in praise. And you should always look forward to where he is taking you so that your expectation and hope can trouble the present. If I go, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, you may be there also. In my Father's house are many mansions. So the expectation and the hope should bring me through trials and tribulations, because I know what my end is. So I will not complain and cry and holler about the advantage and the opportunity God has given me to come from slavery to ownership. I will not allow myself to be bitten by some serpent because I don't believe God. And I'm sitting around here blaming him. Now he turns around and says, look, that same serpent that bit you, now you ought to look and live. Look and live. And so now Jesus is about to take Nicodemus further. He's saying, as Moses lifted up that serpent in the wilderness, so has the Son of Man has to be lifted up. So what I'm telling you about is something that comes out of your history. So now you can understand my doctrinal theological presentation based on your historical metaphor. That metaphor was not just for them. It was for you, Nicodemus, to know that even so the Son of Man be lifted up. When I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. God bless you tonight. All men. Woo. Jesus, I'll never forget what you've done for me. Jesus, I'll never forget how you set me free. Jesus, I'll never forget how you brought me out. Jesus, I'll never forget, no, never. How can I forget what you've done for me? How can I forget how you set me free? How can I forget how you brought me out? Jesus, I'll never forget, no, 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 never.